Muskegon County Board of Commissioners meeting together. If we would rise, please, for an invocation. Let us pray. Lord, as we transition from summer to fall, we ask that you remember that our citizens for whom winter is a hard season. We also ask you guide us with your wisdom and compassion as we make decisions that affect all of the citizens in the county. And as always, watch over those who protect us both here and abroad. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam.
Commissioner Collins.
Here.
Commissioner Cross.
Here.
Commissioner Derasinski.
Here.
Commissioner Engel.
Here.
Commissioner Jaeger.
Here.
Commissioner Longmire.
Present.
Chairman Mahoney.
Here.
Commissioner Plummer.
Excused.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Here.
Vice Chairman Snyder.
Excused.
Commissioner Wilkins. Here. 9 present, 2 excused.
Okay, we have a quorum. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the current agenda.
And so moved, Mr. Chair.
Second. Okay, moved by Commissioner Collins, seconded by Commissioner Engel to approve the agenda as presented. Any changes, discussion? None? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. We have the approval of the minutes of September 11th, and if you wish...
So moved for both.
Okay, so moved by Commissioner Engel, seconded by Commissioner Derasinski to approve both of those sets of minutes from the September 11th and September 13th. Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor say yes.
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 Those opposed, no. Motion carries. We're now at a point in the agenda where we have public comment on an agenda item. Anyone in the public wishing to speak on an agenda item? Seeing none, we can move on. We now have a presentation from Mr. Ron Ballard, President of the Muskegon County Fair Board.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know if you know me, but I am Ron Ballard, President of the Fair. Been doing it for quite a while now. President for 6 years, involved with the fair for 20-something anyways. But what I'm doing is, we're proposing to change our horse riding arenas and making more parking. And we are asking for the board to give us approval to timber some of the trees. Yeah, it's this area right in here.
Right here.
Yep. Yep.
And we see that okay? Or we going to zoom in a little bit? Sorry, this is reflective light. Let me try to turn it off. Whoops.
And that light.
Hopefully that will work. I don't think I'll do that again. So I guess that's the best I can do.
Okay. Well, I can work with it anyways. Yeah, this, we would like to go from this line right here and clear these, this here area, and this area right here for parking. We have, and there are some trees in here that are diseased, and we don't want it to spread, so we would just have all the guys there, they would just take whatever they need to do to get rid of the diseased ones. This is the proposed riding arenas, just so you know. I don't know if these are the arenas.
Same thing there.
Same thing. They're rather large. They are rather large. We are trying to get competitive with other fairgrounds to pick up some of these 3-day horse shows and breed shows. So this is real similar. Yeah, that's Arena 1.
Two.
There's 2. Yep, three. Yeah, it's a dressage arena, and then arena 2. Yep. So that's what we were trying to do, and we were just wanted to bring it to your attention so we could get approval to remove some trees.
Commissioner.
Yeah. Ron, are those just cleared areas, or are you talking about buildings?
No, they're just cleared areas.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, there was talk about putting a announcer's booth, small one, probably 20 by 16 or something like that, between all three of them, so that they can see all three of them. That's probably down the road a little ways.
And one last thing, could you hold that picture up again? I have not seen an aerial view of the fairgrounds.
You want to see it this way, or you want to see
Yeah,
it?
no, that's fine. At the top where your left hand is there, is that all, yeah, up there, no, way up at the top of the picture, is that all county property way up there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and that's all trees?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and are those like scrub trees, or are they good trees, or?
They're all nice. Yeah, this has been timbered. Select cutted. It's probably been 12 years ago maybe. And they went through and took out diseased ones. As you can see, these areas here were diseased. We had this parking lot enlarged because it was the same size as this one, and we had this cleared here, and as well as the area here for our bath shower.
I guess the reason I ask is because there's been some discussion about, I don't think they're going to come back, but I'm a member and I would make an attempt. But you know, there was that fireworks convention here in the late 90s, and it was at Heritage Landing, and it can't go there now because it's all, there's not enough room for one thing, and it's all landscape. I've been to a number of those conventions, and they're always generally at fairgrounds. But you couldn't do it there without starting a forest fire probably then.
Well, that's what makes this so nice. It is a beautiful fairgrounds, a lot of shade. It's been
Because most of the fairgrounds I've been to 4 of them, are pretty wide open.
they're always out in the open. Yeah, there's not a lot of fairs that have trees.
So that wouldn't be a good place for that.
I mean, it's a lot of woods. And I will say it gets rather dry out there because it's all sand.
Commissioner Jasinski.
Ron, having been at the fair last year and for many, many years, used to be a 4-H member, but I'm seeing fewer dairy and beef participants and more horses. It seems to be the way the county is maturing. That's the way it's going with the horses.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
and that's pretty poor. I mean, it's a small, what you have there is small. The seating is adequate? No.
no, we for the show arenas you're talking, we have portable bleachers that we move around. I mean, a lot of people prefer they just sit on the side of the hill because they like to sit in the shade. But yeah, they bring their chairs and sit. But we move them around if they need them to.
Would that accommodate a rodeo when it's done?
Yes. Oh yeah. We've had them out there before. Yeah.
Yeah. But that has to be very small.
They just don't. They just haven't done real well. I mean, I'd love to have one. You know, Labor Day weekend is always a good weekend, but yeah, it'd be nice if we could get somebody to come out and put one on there. But yeah, they would.
But we're not clearing that much of the total property. Where the camping is, the shade still exists.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And there are some mature trees there, but not a lot.
There's some pretty good sized oaks, but not in this area we want to clear. No.
Yeah,
There's just
that's
a
right.
few right around the existing horse arena, but the other area is pine, Scotch pine.
You need a motion to that?
The old horse track, do they do anything with that anymore, or is that thing pretty well abandoned? Or?
Well, right now, that area is used for Sportsmen's for Youth and the Youth Rendezvous, Pheasants Forever Youth Rendezvous. we got that area it's kind of set up for their youth events.
But would this help maybe use that more, or it probably isn't gonna have no bearing on it?
Well, we've had a lot of discussion about the track. We don't know, just kind of leaving it in that, up in the air, because there may be someday flat track, motorcycles or snowmobiles in the wintertime, or, may get horse, races back. We just kind of depends on who approaches us and different ideas, but we don't really want to do anything with it yet other than use it for parking, for around these horse arenas.
I think the board is well aware of this, but I'm not sure if everybody in the audience is. The Fair Board actually does the upkeep for the county out there, and they've been self-sustaining. We give them a very small amount of money each year to help them what they do, but everything else they do pretty much on their own. And it's really a good thing, I think, for we tried last year to bring some of the inner city folks out. I think it was very successful. That's something we may want to look at this winter, get with, to see which day is the best day, whatever. But I mean, I really think they need a pat on the back, because they've been working with not a lot for a long time.
I surely am in favor of it and be glad to make the motion, but I'm not sure what that motion would be. I'm not sure who's going to be doing the actual logging, clearing, stump removal, and what liability that may spin off to the county is all. I'm very much in favor of seeing this thing expanded. I so move, but I don't know how to make that motion.
Why don't we do that under new business, Jim?
Okay.
Yeah, couldn't we make a motion that the Public Works Department take that part over and get it done? Wouldn't it be through Public Works, or is it through a Fair Board?
Through the Fair Board, because they report directly to us.
I have one question, Ron. Those horse barns out there, there's like 5 of them.
Yep.
Do you do anything with those?
Right now, we're using 2. 2 for the horses to stall in. There's been, we used the 3rd one for, with the pony pulls this year, they went into that one. The 4th one we use for storage for ourselves, and the county uses the 5th one to store their stuff. There's been talk, I'd like to see one of them take the stalls out and use it for an indoor riding arena, because we don't have one on this side of the state. But that's still up in the air. But yeah, we've been using them up.
Thank you. Anybody else have a question?
So what is your timetable? How quickly is this done?
Well, we would like to get the trees cleared as soon as possible. Because we can't even think about start leveling out because we have to do it in stages, because if we tear the arena down, it has to be one built right back, because we have horse shows there and the fair, it comes quick and to get it done. So that's our goal, is to get the trees cleared so we can get it leveled. And, hopefully we can, use the proceeds from the trees to get the arena built back. At least one of them.
Ted, just as when we get around the new business in motion, to take care of Jim's concern about insurances, I think we could approve it contingent upon proof of insurance or whatever.
So to do that, yes.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything? Outside of complimenting you on a good job, and
Thanks.
It keeps getting better.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on to the next communication. I didn't see any. Committee reports, Community Development and Strategic Planning. Commissioner Skolnick.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Community Development and Strategic Planning Committee met on September 20th, 2012. It was recommended, and I move CD/SP 12/09-10.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion that's been seconded. Is there any discussion on?
I'm running.
Oh, I forgot.
You're out of order.
Better not take a day off.
Anyway, the Community Development Meeting, Strategic Planning Committee's report of September 20th has been moved by Commissioner Skolnick, seconded by Commissioner Collins to approve that report. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Cross.
Yes.
Commissioner Derasinski.
Yes.
Commissioner Engel.
Yes.
Commissioner Jaeger.
Yes.
Commissioner Longmire.
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Chairman Mahoney.
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I suggest you don't leave town for more than a day at a time.
You're willing to, more than willing, Commissioner. Okay, Public Works, Commissioner Engel.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The Board of Public Works met on September 20th, 2012, approved and I so moved the adoption of the proposed 2013 wastewater budget with a rate increase of 6% overall for capital operation, maintenance, and bonds, and to adopt a proposed rate adjustment for hauled waste of .045 cents per gallon, no, percent per gallon, which is 46 cents per gallon. 4 cents.
No, it can't be 46 per 100.
4,600, .046.
Okay.
Don't give us 46 cents again.
I know, I was trying to get some revenue on this.
Okay. You need a second.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved by Commissioner Engel, seconded by Commissioner Cross to approve the Public Works the report of September 20th. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Derasinski.
Yes.
Commissioner Engel.
Yes.
Commissioner Jaeger.
Yes.
Commissioner Longmire.
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Commissioner Cross.
Yes.
Commissioner Chairman Mahoney.
Yes.
9 yes.
That concludes the Public Works report, Mr. Chairman.
Motion carries. And we are done.
We are done.
Transportation Committee, Commissioner Wilkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Transportation Committee met on September 20th, 2012. It was recommended and I move TR 1209-40.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Wilkins, seconded by Commissioner Longmire to approve the Transportation Committee report of September 20th, 2012. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Engel.
Yes.
Commissioner Jaeger.
Yes.
Commissioner Longmire.
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Commissioner Cross.
Yes.
Commissioner Derasinski.
Yes.
Chairman Mahoney.
Yes.
9 yes.
Motion carries.
That completes my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilkins. Ways and Means Committee, Commissioner Collins.
Mr. Chairman, the Ways and Means Committee met on September 20th, 2012. It was recommended I move WM 12/09-120 through 129.
Second.
So moved by Commissioner Collins and seconded by Commissioner Engel to approve the Ways and Means Committee report of September 20th. Any discussion? Commissioner Jaeger.
On number 126, which is a final budget of this year, I'd like to know about the buses and a long-term, the feasibility, how we're going to make this thing stay going and everything else, I guess.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Bob Wilkins, Community Development Director. The 3 buses for rural service will be paid for with federal funds completely. Those 3 buses are funded entirely by federal funds. And we are working on the operational plan for the rural service as we move forward with this project.
Well, you know, I have a real problem agreeing to anything where we can now take these buses without a long-term plan first. I needed some sort of guarantee that we're not taking these things unless this long-term plan is put before us, that we know it's going to work, then take the buses. I mean,
We have been conducting meetings with the various municipalities in the county, townships, and other corporations and employment centers in the county to determine the best plan moving forward. As far as routes go, as far as additional funding goes from the, to support the operational routes. And also we have, this service will be scalable, so we'll be able to use it at different frequencies, or different, I guess frequency would be the right word, depending on the amount of funding that we have for the various routes.
well, see, I'm not hearing that we're not gonna take these buses if we don't have all this stuff in place. And it just scares the heck out of me to put another one, something in place that we may have to ask for a millage for 2 or 3 years down the road when Grand Rapids is fixing to get rid of 2 services because they can't. They're probably gonna get rid of them anyway because of a millage. So I'm not very comfortable even agreeing to, that we would even think about taking these things. I mean, because I don't want them just sitting out here in a parking lot just because we can.
Right. From my discussions with Mr. Coons, we will be able to run these buses for in the future. There will be funding available through the current sources that we have, and as we explore future sources, we have to open discussions with the municipalities that we now serve to look at the community share for local funding for bus operations. So those will all be incorporated into the plan.
Well, if we do this, are you going to immediately apply to take the buses, or are we going to wait until this plan is in place? We know we have a plan.
The buses will, the acceptance of the grant, I believe, will still have to be approved by the board. So we do have time to finalize the plan, and we are working on that.
And we're not in a timeline like it has to be done today anyway, right? As far as taking the buses,
we won't accept the buses for at least a year. So we do have time. If it's decided to move forward with the rural routes, we have certain equipment that we can put into service even before that time, before we accept the new buses.
Bob, isn't the bulk of the operational costs are reimbursable, aren't they? Or not for these?
50% of operational costs comes from the state.
Right.
And the other comes from fares, and it comes from the communities that we serve currently.
I was just going to add that we've just recently received word from the state that there has been, the focus is going more towards rural bus services. There's recently been a cut, and it hasn't been passed. They're trying to change some of that, but they're showing that the urban dollars are being reduced so that they can move more towards the rural. And so because there's time with this, and we will have an opportunity, and we will not be accepting them until we are sure. I just want to assure you all of that it has to come back for your approval.
Mr. Chair, if I could just make one other comment. I remember when it was a long process to run the buses in the evening, and you know, there was some question as to whether that was going to work or not, and that turned out to have worked really well. With the cost of gas being so expensive, I know it's expensive to run the buses, but some people, if the buses do run to the outlying areas, may choose to take the bus just because it'd be a lot cheaper than driving their own vehicles.
We are talking to the to corporations and other entities in the Whitehall corridor, to Whitehall-Montague corridor, to determine potential ridership and to gauge their interest in providing this service. And our meetings thus far have been encouraging. I mean, the municipalities and townships are encouraged by the idea of transit to the northern part of the county and the eastern part of the county, so.
Are all of our buses on natural gas that we have now?
Not at this time.
So could these, if we did take these, let's say, and we don't use them, or we only have to partially use, can we use these more for routes in Muskegon? Would they be allowed to do that? Because the natural gas is cheaper, right?
Yes, it is. It's about half the cost of diesel.
I mean, I don't want to sit in the parking lot again, I'm back to the same thing again. Could we use them for?
I really don't have the answer to that, but I can find out about that for you. I don't know if the buses, because of the grant structure, if they cannot be used on other routes within our system. But I believe they would have to be on rural routes, but I can check on that for you.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I think it's a great idea. Commissioner Skolnick said it perfect. Gas prices are going up. There's a lot of people that live within the city of Muskegon, especially if they go, or in the county, all over the county, say from this area, just that, if they go up to, say, Howmet, they have almost 2,000 employees there. I can imagine that, you know, if they had to pay $20 a month or whatever have you for a bus fare, I'm sure that it's a lot cheaper than paying for gas. And I'm sure the ridership would be there.
Yes, I think in the future, we will be attending all of those meetings, albeit committee of transportation. And we will get the feel of the public, because I was around when there was a bus running out Wolf Lake Road many, many years ago. That bus ran on the hour. Everybody knew that they could come up to the bus line and get on it. And I think with the price of gasoline prices, you will see people riding the bus. And I'm looking forward to it.
Roseanne, I'm surprised you remember the Wolf Lake Transit Authority. But there's a gentleman, his name was Johnny Hyatt, that ran it, and he made a very good living and built a house on the lake running a bus to Muskegon. And I still remember some of those times, and I'll bet you paid a dime, didn't you?
It was
minimal.
quite generous.
But it was a very successful venture. And there are no guarantees on anything that we do. But there is one guarantee: if we don't do anything, we're not going to progress.
This is a budget we're talking about. This is not the final vote on the buses. This is our best guess of what we can do at today. And we can amend it if we have to amend it, and we can do it easy, but this is the best guess of what's in front of us that we're looking at to do. And that's all it is.
Well, I agree with that, but I am not comfortable starting another program we can't pay for. I would like to say something about two other items. I don't believe in laying off maintenance mechanics. I think we're laying off another one. We're not taking good care of our buildings, and buildings are not cheaper than mechanics. So I don't agree with that at all, but it's not enough to make me not vote for this. And the last is, we did not take enough cut. We got commissioners that just went on vacation at Shanty Creek.
Excuse me, that was not a vacation, that was a conference.
That's fine. And we're getting iPads, we're getting everything else, and we did not get cut enough. We should have got cut. Them iPads are supposed to pay for themselves. I print my own paper, I'm not costing you a dime anymore. We need to get cuts. If we're gonna cut these staff, we're gonna cut all these people around here, we're gonna lay people off and cut us too. I don't care if you take our insurance away, take our pension plans away, and take
Commissioner Jaeger, let's stick to the issue, not a speech. Thank you. My own thoughts on the rural bus service is it's an opportunity for us to become a leader in the state with rural transportation. We have a possibility. It's simply that, a possibility. It does not mean we're going to be stuck with it forever. It moves us forward. Thank you. And we are now to the point. Any other discussion? Okay. And we need a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Jaeger,
Yes.
Commissioner Longmire.
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Commissioner Cross.
Yes.
Commissioner Derazinski.
Yes.
Commissioner Engel.
Yes.
Chairman Mahoney.
Yes.
9 yes.
Motion carries. Break over there, Mr. Conley.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes the report.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, now we're on to my report. A couple things, the jail committee will be meeting here next Thursday, I believe at 1:30, for all those who are interested. I'm sure all have been impressed by the windmill parts that have been arriving in Muskegon. It's a very impressive thing to watch, but more importantly, I think it's a revitalization of the Port of Muskegon. Makes it back into play as it was many years ago. And also, don't forget the MAPS bus unveiling this afternoon, immediately following this meeting, because Commissioner Longmire wants to pull the straw. We'll put you behind the cart, because we're probably blowing up by the time we get out there. Okay, any liaisons wishing to report?
Yes. Mr. Chair, I have one report. I met with the Federal Emergency Clearing Committee on the 21st, and as you know, last year the county received $102,000. That has been cut to $75,000 for this county. It has not arrived yet. Usually those reports go in September 30th. However, we have not received the money, so there will be an extension on that. So I just wanted to report that to you because it is definitely going to hurt.
Thank you. Commissioner Derazinski.
Judy Kell, did she leave? What we were first probably granted she wasn't successful in getting was the Veterans Court. And believe me, she puts a tremendous amount of effort. And I do not say that to find fault because she's worth her weight in gold. But she did find a way to implement that for these veterans. And we're pursuing that at a very negligible cost to the county, which probably can be paid from the county millage. We're still looking into that. We probably have 14 to 20 vets who could take advantage of the Veterans Courts because of programs that are run in Battle Creek. And if you get a chance, compliment her for me. And I don't know if you're aware of,
Yes.
and a couple of judges and some minimal training. And I just love that effort in that behalf. As these people come home, their problems are bigger and bigger. So if you get that chance.
We are now
Wait, Mr.
administrative.
Chairman, I should, one thing, I attended a Lakeshore Museum meeting the other day, a board meeting, and I just let everybody know that Hiltz Landing Heritage project is moving ahead. And there are, I think they're working on the architectural drawing, the drawings for the building, the main building up there as we speak. And a significant amount of money has been received ahead of what they thought to begin that construction period. So it's going to be a big deal for the county.
Right, it's, for those that are not familiar with it, it's up in Whitehall. The old Hiltz Landing property. It's a historical park, museum type thing, interactive. It'll be a good event or a good venue for us in the county is in terms of tourism. Parents can bring the folks to Michigan Adventure, the kids, and then they have to learn something while they're here. Any other liaisons wishing to report? Administrators report. Madam Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and County Board of Commissioners. I present to you for your consideration authorized circuit court administrator to apply to the State Court Administrator's Office for Access and Visitation Grant.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Engel, seconded by Commissioner Longmire to approve the authorization of the circuit court administrator to apply for this state grant for access and visitation. Any discussion?
Now, what's this program exactly about?
I would refer to the credit.
Eric Stevens, Circuit Court Administrator. Commissioner Jaeger, what we currently do is Catholic Charities of West Michigan is the only agency in this county that provides supervised parenting time between parents who there may be domestic violence involved or they've been fighting. So they will actually supervise the parenting time. Or sometimes they don't need to supervise the parenting time, but they need a neutral place to exchange the child. This is the only place in Muskegon County, the only agency that provides that service also. What they currently do right now is they charge $30 typically to the non-custodial parent for this service. And if someone doesn't have the money, they don't provide the service. With this grant from the State Court Administrator's Office, and it's a small grant, it's only for $5,500, what it'll do is allow us to set up a sliding fee schedule so that individuals who do not have the ability to pay the $30 will now be able to, they'll assess their income and they'll see all the way up from zero to, maybe $25 can be funded to this grant, which will allow them to spend time with their children and actually, in a supervised parenting time setting. And it's free money, there's no cost to the county. There's no in-kind contribution. This is just money the State Court Office will give to the Circuit Court to help pay for this service.
If we start paying for it, do we become liable in any way to, I mean, some of these parents can't be the best parents in the world, is that correct?
Yeah, that's true.
So are we liable in any way if we're paying for their to be in there, or is it like zero difference?
I don't believe so. It's Catholic Charities of West Michigan. It's on their facility. It's not on county property in any way. These parents are court ordered to attend, but I request that once we do get the application, I'll forward it on to corporate counsel so that we can take a look at it and make sure we have the appropriate insurance coverage provisions and that type of thing.
And now, how do we determine if they can pay or not? I mean, they have forms or?
Yeah, what we're going to do is develop a sliding fee schedule that we'll request that Catholic Charities of West Michigan use to determine. What we do in other sliding fee schedules that we use, we'll ask them to provide income information. It'll be reviewed, looked at, and then determination made. Anywhere from not having to pay anything up to, like I said, maybe a $5 discount.
But they have to fill out like a form with wages and all that to determine.
Yes, they'll have to, if they want assistance from this grant because they're not able to afford $30 per visit, then yeah, they'll have to fill out the income information and provide that. So.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. Motion carried.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Okay, we are now into old business. Anybody have old business to bring forward? Being none. New business. Commissioner Derazinski.
I surely would like a motion to accommodate the request from the board, the fair board out there. And I do have some concerns about liability. I'm sure we're covered, and I'd hate to complicate that so as to make it difficult for them or to scare these exceptional volunteers away. I can't, right now, getting rid of the trees and the brush and the wood, I don't know how that would be accommodated. I think we would just leave that up to them. I don't think there would be what they would call any money logs. I mean, a logger wouldn't come in and do that for that small of a, especially the pines. I don't know, how do we keep it simple?
I think clearly we're having a motion to allow them to proceed with the tree removal, but I also think we need to make sure that we are covered in terms of liability insurance. Do Commissioner Jager.
Well, that's where I'm more with Jim. I don't know how you can request them to have $1 million worth of insurance if they're volunteers doing it. So it seems like they have to come under our policy or something like that. Otherwise, they can't have volunteers do it.
I think my point is, we need to make sure they have insurance, whether it's through us or through them.
I believe they're gonna contract it out. And if they contract it out, they should follow the same policies they do on everything else.
Right.
I'm not sure, I wish I'd asked that question.
I think the concept, because they were gonna remove stumps and all of that, which is pretty hard to do with volunteer.
Do they have that kind of money, Mark?
They've been saving a while, and they'll get a reduced price probably, I would guess. But that's something to, I mean, we gotta make sure we're covered, you know.
I guess my comment, Jim, is if you bought a 2x4 lately, I think there is some money in that wood. And I think that was their intent, the way I understood it. They'd have a logger come in and take it off.
Because he did say they're hoping for the revenue to help pay for the leveling of the land, so.
Whatever's left.
They do keep a fairly extensive set of books. They plan in the future, year, 2-3 years out. And so, I mean, they built a bathroom, which doesn't sound like much, but bathrooms are expensive, you know. Did that all within their own time frame.
Okay, so let me get back to where we were at. We had a motion
to allow it to proceed as long as we're covered.
as long as the insurance is there. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, now we can discuss.
Mark, the value of that wood, I mean, is negligible compared to the scope of the program.
I know.
Okay, well, I'm back in control.
I mean, if I may, in discussion, I think, Mark, we met a logger out there a couple of years ago, did we not? Just to look at that possibility and didn't seem overexcited.
No. And when they're saying that, I think they're saying if they can defray part of it, they're happy. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's my guess, but.
Okay, can we move forward now? Anybody else wish to talk? Okay, just a minute, let's get this motion voted on. Why don't we do a roll call, because it does involve some money, I guess, a little. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Longmire.
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Commissioner Cross.
Yes.
Commissioner Derzinski.
Yes.
Commissioner Engel.
Yes.
Commissioner Jager.
Yes.
Chairman Mahoney.
Yes.
9 yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Commissioner Longmire.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to address this ridiculous notion that somehow, and I think I can speak for Commissioner Plummer as well, that we somehow had a vacation up at Shanty Creek. These MAC conferences are usually at resorts, and Commissioner Plummer and myself still being commissioners until December 31st, barring any miracle, November 4th. We still have an obligation to go and get information. And I did get some good information at the workshops that I attended while I was up there. You know, these comments on MLive, no offense, Eric, on MLive and Facebook comments are ridiculous. Some of these people trolling around, making these comments, and I don't have a problem pointing them out, calling them out. Commissioner Jagger, you attended these conferences. You didn't call it a vacation then, so you referred it to as a vacation now. I got information, received information at the workshops about the veterans and some of their benefits, and veterans who aren't receiving benefits that are in the county, in the state of Michigan, all these veterans that need these benefits. So I think that's important information to share, bringing back, and sharing it with my constituency.
So this notion that we somehow went up there and had a great time and all these other things is absolutely ridiculous. And I know who the people are that are posting these comments, and like I said, I don't have a problem pointing them out or calling them out. So, you know, you're entitled to comment on what you want to comment about or write what you want to write about, but I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want to get too deep into it. But
thank you. Okay. We are now, anybody else have old business or new business?
Mr. Chair, I just want to remind the public that in a few minutes, as soon as we're finished with this meeting, we'll be going downstairs unwrapping the new bus, which is an energy saver in itself. And I would like for all of you to be down there at 4:15. Oh, it's 4:19.
4:19, well, we started
20 or 25.
We started a little late anyway. Any other new business? If not, we are now at public comment on a new topic.
I have some new business.
Oh, you have some new business.
The Finance and Management Services Director was going to give a short presentation
Yes.
of the dashboard that will be on our webpage, the county webpage.
Sorry, I ignored you, Edie. We're ready to go.
No, that's okay. I don't take any offense.
It'll be brief.
I'll try to be brief. I know that Heath Kaplan and brief usually don't go in the same sentence. Heath Kaplan, Finance and Management Services Director, just going back and regressing towards the beginning of the fiscal year and put together our planning efforts. One of the new requirements by the state of Michigan is regarding the EVIT program, the Economic Vitality Program, which the cities, villages, townships are currently under, and the counties will be now brought under as of October 1st. Now, if you remember, Commissioner Longmire brought that to our attention to a question regarding the public hearing. The first main obstacle we are up against on October 1 is our dashboard and our accountability and financial disclosure to the public. I'm happy to tell you that we are submitted everything to the state. Our certification has been approved. The dashboard is up on the county's website right now, so if, let's say, you went to Google or whatever search engine you would prefer, type in Muskegon County. Give you one quick minute. Once you go to the county's front page, you will go under quick links on the far right side. So bear with me one more, or can you go over there, Marcia? To the quick links on the right side. Keep going right. There, go down a little bit. Yep. It's a click on that Economic Vitality Incentive Program, left click. That's a right click. Left click. There you go.
Right.
Yeah, you're other right. And then as you see, this gives the public all the access that's required by the state of Michigan, because they have a template in which they require certain elements to be on there. And actually, if you can click on that performance dashboard to the left there, please. It'll bring you into our dashboard. And can you maximize that window, please? Thank you. And again, what this is doing, just to make sure that this is clear for everyone in the public and to the commissioners, this is not comparing us with other counties in the state. What the dashboard is intended to do is to compare how the county is doing from fiscal year to fiscal year. Okay. The reason why the 12th fiscal year isn't in here because the 12th fiscal year is not closed. Actually, we're in the process of closing that as we speak. So, as you see here, this is a comparison between the 10 actual fiscal year and the 11. That is all it is. And so, when you see a red arrow, it just means there was a difference to where between one year to the next there was a variance. If it's a green arrow, it means that variance may or may not, depending on how you view it, may be a positive, and the red arrows may be quote unquote negative. Now, the blue arrows that are turned aside is a neutral indicator. So to walk through a couple of them, if I may, I'll try to be as brief as possible. The annual general fund fund expenditures per capita, of course, that's going down. Why is it going down? Our taxable value drop, folks. It's been dropping as a steady free fall since 2009. And so this red arrow would appear for many fiscal years, and hopefully it will stop after the end of the 12th. We're hoping in 13, we're relatively optimistic that hopefully our tax base is finally bottomed out, that we can go any further but up. And so it's just a matter of, again, reading into it. The other piece, the fund balance is a percentage of annual general fund expenditures. Now, you remember, we have a board policy that we maintain 18%. And as you can see from these 2 fiscal years, we're above the 18%, but however, we dropped a percentage point, even though we met our general obligation to the board at 18%. We're still above budget per se for both fiscal years, but again, it's showing you that progress is a negative downward arrow because it did drop from the 20% to the 19%. But again, keep in mind that the board policy is 18. So we've always maintained, obviously, the board policy. The ratio of pensioners, I don't like that term. It's the term that the state uses, retirees to employees. Again, this is normal. We're having more people retire. And the more people we have retire, again, folks, we're drawing a line in the sand. We got not more 401k people. All the new people that are 401k are coming in the front door. Got more of those folks coming in than we do defined benefit folks coming in. Are we still offering defined benefit in some groups? Sure we are. But what that's showing, though, is, again, as these people progress out and they retire and receive pension benefits, there's less people here at the county that are getting that benefit, and more and less what we're being supported is by the dwindling base. So that's normal, folks. This is the turn of the page where we're starting to see the upward kick on those 401kers and the drawdown, which is going to take years of the pension. So again, I don't want there to be any misinterpretation of the data. SED value, again, same thing. Everyone knows the taxable values have dropped. Any other specific questions in regards to these particular modifiers? Yes.
Marcia, could you go on some text that shows the graphs? If you click on the text.
Yeah, click on the actual item.
Yeah, like right there. Just click on that. And then that'll explain. There's also graphs. I mean, it's a website that you can get more information than what's showing. There's stuff behind the website as well.
It's an interactive site.
Did the state provided the categories?
Yes. What the state did is they provided a template, and you could use the template or you can expand upon it. You can do a lot of variety of things you do as long as you have the basic requirements of that template. If you go to the State Treasury website and go under the EBIT page, you'll see that there is a series of templates in there, and this is the template, but we expanded a little bit on it to make sure that we're being comprehensive in all the different areas of government which we serve here and programs. But yes, to answer your question, yes.
And then one other question. There was a category up there for average age of infrastructure. Who figures that out? That would be different.
Well, actually, what's going on right now actually is our risk liability carrier, they are in the process of doing that process as we speak, where we do, again, we do calculate our aging infrastructure and in regards to replacement value and all that good stuff. So yes, we actually have that data. And actually this year is the first time we've done it in quite some time.
Okay.
Yep. But it helps us kind of predict replacements and also values. So it's a neat little tool. But it's a nice little interactive. But Marcia, if you want to close off that, if you hit the back arrow one more time, or actually just close out of this window. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Commissioner Nero.
Just a point on the quality of life. Interesting figure there. I haven't seen that, but the number of transit passengers.
Yep, it's definitely increasing.
That's 100,000. 99,000?
Not bad, huh? If you click on that one, so right there, the number of transit passengers keep going down, down, down. Keep going down, keep going down, keep going down. Keep going, go, right there, There you go. People like public transit. Actually, and since 2009, it makes sense, because that's when your recession really started settling in. The peak of the
we increased bus service.
And that's
bus
just
service in 2010.
That's good. Transit does not include air service.
Actually, I believe it does.
That also includes the air service.
Transit is included. It's a category within. Yes, it's both. It's both bus and airport.
So next year we'll see rail service in there too.
Of course.
Guide as well.
Yes. And close out of here, Marcia. Just close right there, yes. Okay. and
If I
you go
could
to-
just make one comment, and I don't know if it's up here or not, but while I was on vacation last week up at Shanty Creek, there was one of the meetings I sat through, they were talking about the court system. And they talked about one of the measures for that was the per capita expense on public defense. I'd never seen that number before. So that's the sort of thing, I don't know if that's up there or not, but I'm gonna look at it. But I mean, there's one way to measure it.
That'd be a new dashboard requirement that we can put on there. That's great. It's very easy to add on. But yes, you're correct. I mean, if you click on also the Citizens Guide and you maximize that, this one also is a very, very good guide. And what it does is this categorizes all of the F-65 CAFR information. So what's the F-65? It's the form we have to submit to the state to submit our annual audit. And so ours is a CAFR, of course. And so as we categorize revenues, you'll see the differences, again, between fiscal years, and you're seeing, again, the plus or minus of how we've done from year to year. And so it's really interesting stuff, like I said. It really shows the citizen on a 10,000-foot level is how we are providing service and programs in this county and how we're funding it. And then, of course, what I'm hoping that this information will do, it'll start that open dialogue with us and our citizens. As they learn more information, hopefully they'll contact myself or the accounting office, which we can provide them even more detail. Again, this information is not held under Fort Knox protection with to shoot anyone on site. We want them to have this information. This information belongs to the public. And again, this is a good start. And it's not perfect, but it's at least giving them the 10,000-foot view, and will hopefully starts that dialogue. And so as you remember, it's live right now. You go to the county website, go to the quick links under the EVIP or the Economic Vitality Incentive Program. You'll find this information there. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Carson Lehigh and the Budget Accounting Office. He did an outstanding job pulling all this information together. It wouldn't have been done without his extraordinary efforts, and of course with the support of Bruce Gowan as well and the other members of the accounting team. And also, again, moving forward again with our other, this was just the deadline number 1 for October 1. I'm pleased to also present that we're about ready to submit the other deadlines well in advance of their when they're due. So the next one, May 1st, the next deadline, we're already ready to submit everything into the state. So all our deadlines will be submitted here very shortly to where we'll be providing our report for consolidation and cooperation and how we're going to, basically talk about our efforts in those areas. And we're going to talk about our employee compensation, which was already approved today. And so we've already knocked that one out. So again, I'm happy to tell you guys that we are in a good shape to receive our full funding for our state revenue share.
Thank you. Anybody else have questions of Heath? Not? We are now at the point of our meeting of public comment on a new topic. I think we had a person willing to do that before we told us to sit down again.
I'm Deb Ackerman, Treasurer of Eggleston Township. First and foremost, I want to applaud the commissioners for acting and giving the opportunity of the rural bus routes. My township happens to be in that category. We're very excited. We're very hopeful that there's a possibility we could be on that route going out to Ravenna. So I applaud you for giving that opportunity to the rural areas. Secondly, I don't know if this is appropriate or not. I guess you'll tell me if it is or not. On behalf of Eggleston Township Festival, I have a certificate of appreciation that I would like to present to one of your commissioners. I'm not sure if I can do that or not. Is that appropriate? Or?
Go ahead.
Okay. As I stated, I'm on the festival committee for Eggleston Township, and on behalf of the festival committee, we have a certificate of appreciation that's going to be awarded to Commissioner Alan Jaeger in his recognition for his valuable contribution to our Eggleston Wolf Lake Festival. So I'd like to present that to him if I could.
buses per month.
Well, like, I had the certificate and I'm like, oh gosh, do I present it or not? Because you're getting beat up and I'm applauding the bus routes and you were against it, but
I'm
in
not
due
against
respect, we appreciate your contribution and hope that we can see more contributions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other public comment? If not, don't forget the bus unveiling. We've got Deb Ackerman, of course, from Eggleston Township, and Commissioner-elect Susie Hughes in the audience. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.